Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 15 of Omnifactory. I am Ziti Sauce, and this is not my world, obviously. So I decided to pop into a creative world, just to mess around with how I want to go about automating my polyethylene, just because that's where I'm headed at this point. So we're going to need a number of things, and in the quest book is going to guide us through this a little bit, but I just wanted to think my way through at least a little bit before I jump into things and start placing machines all over the place. This is just a creative energy cell, so this just supplies unlimited energy, and then I have an LV line, and then an MV line. And I have a few machines, and this isn't super organized, but just to give an idea of the types of things we're going to have to do. So the next two things on our quest book have us make a brewery and a distillery. So our brewery is going to be used to make biomass, and that's done by combining water and sugarcane. And then we're going to need a distillery to turn that biomass into ethanol. So that's what happens here. The biomass just basically gets put in here, and then relatively quickly it gets transformed to ethanol. With the ethanol, what we are going to do is basically turn that into... Wait, I'm already confused. The ethanol gets put into a chemical reactor, and when it's combined with sulfuric acid, we make ethylene, and then we combine the ethylene with oxygen, which isn't here yet, and that makes polyethylene, and then we'll just make that into polyethylene sheets. The sulfuric acid is going to come from combining sulfur with water, and we're basically just going to pipe that over into here. And this electrolyzer is set up to get oxygen. So I don't really blame you if you don't follow that at all, or if you don't, yeah, it's a little bit complicated to understand, but this was a little bit more for me just to make sure I have all the pieces working, and I figured I'd show it really quick. Something weird is happening with Ender IO pipes in creative though. Like, look at this. It's extracting on blue, always active. So it should be extracting ethanol, and this is inserting on blue. Whoops. This is inserting on blue. No, those are both extracting. I'm confused. I think things are just a little bit wonky. Yeah, that should be inserting in blue over here. I guess it's not. Will that work? Yeah, see, it doesn't seem to be putting things in, or maybe it did. But I was having a lot of trouble basically extracting the hydrogen from this. So I really don't think it's going to be much of an issue. But yeah, creative worlds were being a little bit weird for me. But this is messy, but it should get the job done. So I will meet you back at our survivor world. Okay, so yeah, I've bookmarked a few of the things we're going to need, and then the direction we want to go to make these different liquids that we want. And this also kind of goes with how the quest line lays things out as well. So the next thing it wants us to do is make a brewery. And yeah, this is for making that biomass. And a basic brewery will do. This is going to be the bottleneck, but we're just going to have this run all the time. So I don't really foresee many issues with not having enough polyethylene. So I think basic is fine for now. We are going to need an MV chemical reactor at least, though, to actually make the final product, or one of these chemicals does need more than 30 EU a tick. Is it here? Yeah, to make the ethylene, when we're combining the ethanol and sulfuric acid, that does, first off, it takes a while and takes a lot of power, but we do need an advanced chemical reactor to make that. But yeah, so let's jump right in. So the first thing we're gonna have to do is make a couple of these basic machines. So we need the basic brewery, which, okay. We need two basic, or two LV machine holes to start us off. So let's do that. I'm hoping I have enough wrought iron. Looks like I do. Cool, we got the two machine holes. And then we're going to need to get two pumps as well. Okay, what am I missing? A decent amount of stuff, actually. That's concerning. Oh, we do have the rubber rings. Okay, we just need a couple more motors, actually. Which is missing magnetic iron rods. Okay. Let me get a few of those magnetized up in the polarizer. But yeah, also to reiterate, the reason I'm doing all this is so that we can get auto crafting done, just to make our lives a whole lot easier. Hopefully it should be all worth it, and I don't foresee it, a situation where it's not. Oh man, I need more bronze plates too, don't I? Let me just craft up a good amount of those. I feel like bronze plates is always a thing I forget. While that's crafting up, so another thing we're going to need is snad. So I had a barrel of sugarcane on my creative world, so I want to do the same thing here. And we can kind of get automatic sugarcane going relatively easy with snad, because snad is basically it grows both sugarcane and cactus quicker when I think all the time, and then also when it's provided with a redstone signal, it can kind of speed up the rate at which it grows. And then we can make an auto breaker to break that and just throw it into a barrel, relatively easy. So first thing, we're going to need, I guess, 18 of these in total, because we need 2 of the double compressed, and then that will make 1 of the snads. So that's good to have. Another thing we're going to need is the auto breaker, which I think that should be very easy to make. Got everything there. And then the super sound muffler is another thing that we'll need, but we have no wood. Let me get a bit of wood, or wooden planks that is, to make this note block. And then I do have wool. That's good. Huh, I didn't know that was a thing. You can make clouds. That's pretty neat, actually. Okay. By now we got some bronze plates, so we should be able to make some more of these medium bronze pipes. I'm just gonna make 4 of them, so I'm sick of running out. Okay, and then we should be good to make a couple of these. Nice. Okay, now I think we have everything. I did find a few more brewing stands as well in between episodes, but we should be able to make the brewery and the distillery. We do need 1 more. Well, at least I thought I found a brewing stand. Is that living somewhere? I swear I had found 1 more. Well, there's the blaze rod. I don't know why I grabbed it. That's interesting. Let me make sure I made the right one first. Okay, we got a brewery and a distillery. So these are the two things we'll need to make our ethanol. Is that going to give me the other quest as well, or is it going to want me to make... Nope, I got it. And then, yeah, with that, we should be able to make ethanol relatively easy. But yeah, but before we do that, I don't need a stinking tower. Yeah, there is a larger quest that isn't showing up yet for... you can make a huge multi-block structure for a distillery, which we'll get to eventually, but yeah, it's not necessary for what we're trying to do here. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention this. The super sound muffler is needed to basically stop the annoying breaking of sugarcane happening every second or two. I'm also planning on setting this up in my basement, so hopefully that works. Oh, one other thing before we go down there, I want to get is a timer, which should be easy. I would just need a few more redstone torches. Cool, and this will be used when it's adjacent to the snad to trigger updates. I don't really know how it works, but it makes sugarcane grow extremely fast. Yeah, so when we go down here, I'm trying to think about where exactly I want to set this up. I'm thinking somewhere over here I'll just have a kind of a line of machines. And I am going to need LV and MV machines, but I want to do it in a somewhat organized fashion. Yeah, because we got power down here, so that'll be easy enough to use, and then we're just going to need to have a couple CEFs that, kind of like in my creative world, line up some stuff. But I'm also going to need to have my snad growing operation somewhere as well. Let me take a second and figure out how I want to organize this, and I'll be right back. All right, I think this is a start at least. So what I've done is I put the LVCEF here for now, and then I just lined some conductive iron cable here. So we should be able to throw down our brewery and distillery. And I should feel pretty good about that. Okay, and we just saw the auto breaker work as we want. So whenever this grows, this will basically just break it. But what I want to try and do is have this timer force it to grow consistently. So if I put this to like 20 or something, I think that might make it grow faster. Yeah, see, it's triggering these block updates and something with how it works. I don't know if it's intended or not, but I'm not going to worry about it because it makes my life a lot easier. So yeah, this is basically just going to collect a good amount of sugarcane into this breaker, and we should be able to pipe it in with some I need some item conduits. Should be able to just pipe it in straight into the brewery. Maybe from here. There's going to be a lot of cabling going on. I need a torch. Where should I put that? There's really nowhere to put it. I'll put it there for now, just to keep things a little bit nicer. So, yeah, there we go. If I extract that always active and insert it into here, this should start getting sugarcane. Nice, it is. Awesome. And the only other thing this needs is just water. So it doesn't need that much, I think, and it takes a really long time. So I think one of those infinite water sources, which we're just going to need 2 buckets of water for, from nuclear craft, should do the job. So if we look at infinite water sources, should have all of that. Nice. And if we just slap that like behind, right here, that should do the job. And well, that should be giving it water. I thought it would. Huh. Infinite water source into the basic brewery. Interesting. Can it not go in the back? Does it need to go underneath or something? There's really no other sides where I can make this work too well. Let me try on top just to see if it works that way. For whatever reason, that works. Okay, so I think instead I'll just pipe my conduits this way. I guess we don't need this glass. It'll probably look cleaner without it anyway. And a faster way to do what I want to do would be using our handy wrench. And you see that sound is going to get annoying. That's why I made that super sound muffler. Okay, so if we just bring it on back this way, I think that should work. Or let me go down here. Seriously, can you not insert that way? Huh. I'm very surprised that the infinite water source doesn't work on the back. It really doesn't, huh? Alright, give me a second. I will figure out what to do here. Okay, so what was happening is you see this black box, or not box, but a square. So that is, I think it's the output side of GregTech machines, and that was in the back here, and I guess it can't accept any input, it looks like, from that. So when I moved it from the back to the side, it was able to take water in from the back, and then it can still take the sugarcane in from the top. So I think this should work. Something else I could have done was just pipe in water. Oops. Pipe in water with a pipe. That would be totally fine as well. But we can see we have some biomass going. And then what we're going to want to do is go and get some fluid conduits and then just simply pipe it into the distillery. And this is where the ender conduiting gets very, very nice. So for the fluid, which is this box, if we just extract that always active and insert it here, we should get fluid. Oh, and it's the same issue. We had the output all messed up there. And if we throw in our circuit, the circuit needs to be programmed at 0, I believe, for the, what are we looking for? Ethanol. Programmed at 0 with biomass. Okay. But for whatever reason, that is still not... Does it need to get extracted where the extract box is? Oh, never mind. It's working perfectly. Cool. So that's getting taken out of the basic brewery and just piped directly into the distillery. And we should see ethanol appear right here. Awesome. All right, we are making progress. And that's actually the next quest reward as well, is once we have a bucket of that, we can get that quest reward, and then the next thing we're going to want to do is make sulfuric acid. But this thing is really bothering me, so I can show you how the sound muffler works. Do a whitelist, and I think you can see the recent. I think that should do it. Nope. Whitelist. Or should it be a blacklist for that, I think. Okay. And then other things. Yep, other things still make sound. Okay, cool. So that's just gonna help our sanity just a little bit. Okay. Let me grab a bucket because we're about to get over 1,000 millibuckets of the ethanol, so we should be able to get that quest going. I thought we were, at least. I guess this is pretty slow. And we need 1,000 millibuckets of biomass to get that. But next up is going to be sulfuric acid. So that is going to take... how are we doing that again? We need water and sulfur. And I forget if using the single infinite water source was enough or not. And then we're also going to need to pipe in sulfur somehow. So I think what I want to do is possibly just make an import bus. Oh yeah, we're making more ethanol. Make an import bus, and then we should be able to just take it in from our system, I think. I don't know how much sulfur we have, though. But yeah, let's complete this quest here. Awesome. And maybe this will give us a bit more context. So sulfuric acid is from sulfur and water. Yep. You'll need huge amounts of this. Yes, we will. Yeah, so as far as getting a massive amount of sulfur, I don't know if there's an easy way to do it. I don't think... Yeah, we only have 10. But we should be able to get the sulfur. I'm sure we can find a vein somewhere. It's also not too super expensive to make. But yeah. Okay, give me a second. I know I'm cutting a lot, but I want to think through this build and make sure I'm doing it the way I want to do it. So I'll be back once again. Okay, so I've decided to replace, we had our infinite water source with just one of these endervars, like we have with the magmatic dynamo upstairs, just because we're going to need water for a few different things, and I think using one of these is going to provide a lot, whereas making these infinite water sources is a bit annoying. So this will require a touch more piping, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. So we'll just extract there and insert, and that should give us tons of water. And yeah, see, that's filling up a whole lot faster than it was with the single block infinite water source. And so this was totally fine for just the brewery, but we're also going to need that to make the sulfuric acid. So yeah, I will kind of hold off there. And also, just to make things a bit clearer, I'm going to have water on blue. Oops. Actually, I probably will need that eventually. Or, I don't know if I do, actually. And have that insert on blue. And then we're also going to need to basically make a MV line as well somewhere. To figure out where the best place for that to go is. I could put it over here, but that might be a touch annoying. I'm thinking I'll just kind of line it up here, actually. So, yeah, let's just do that. Okay, so I've made an MVCEF, and if I plop that right here and do a bit more cabling and throw in my other flux capacitor, that should have a bit of a buffer. I'm just using 10 million is way more than enough, but it's still easier to make than a battery. And then we have some energetic alloy wiring. And now we should be able to put our MV machines here. So I just stole it from upstairs. I'm gonna have to make another one eventually, but one of the big things we're gonna need for this is the advanced electrolyzer, and that's what we're going to be using to basically pipe water into that and then extract the hydrogen and oxygen, because the oxygen is going to be needed for the final step. Yeah, okay, I think I'm doing that correctly. So yeah, we're going to need to pipe water in basically. So if I grab fluid conduits, I'm going to need a few more, I think. Oh, this should be enough for now. And if I just insert on blue here, cool. So that is working. So yeah, I mean, water is H2O, so that'll produce 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. And we're definitely going to want to save the hydrogen. We'll probably just pipe that in eventually. I think that'll be the easiest thing to do. Okay, cool. And over here, I made another basic chemical reactor, and this is what we're going to make our sulfuric acid with. So we're also going to need water for this, and then we're going to need a export bus, because it's exporting from the system into here. So before I do that, I'm also going to need water for that, so I'll need fluid conduits as well. So let me go upstairs. So I need to make some fluid conduits and also an import bus. The import bus, I made the piston off camera because that's, you've seen me do that before. It's nothing special. And then I'm basically going to have to filter that for the sulfur. So let me just grab a piece of sulfur. Okay, and then I'm going to need some ME conduits and also some ME cable. What's it, just a Fluix cable? And also, I want to turn these into the ender fluid conduits. Just got to get some vibrant alloys, which of course I am out of. I feel like I'm out of everything today. Okay, I'll do that off camera in a bit, but for now, let's try to set up the importing. But I don't think I'm going to have enough cabling to run to where I want to be. So I can basically plop this in here, and that should... Oh, I totally made an import bus, didn't I? Okay, I actually need an export bus. I'm sure I'll use an import bus relatively soon. Right? Yeah, import to the system, yeah. So ME export bus is what I am looking for. And for that, I need one of these formation cores, which I don't have the Fluix. And I don't think these can be used to pulverize. Yeah, they can't. Coming up short everywhere. Okay, off camera, I'm going to make a bit more Fluix crystals, make that export bus, and some more ME conduits, and some more ender fluid conduits, and I'll be back. Okay, made some stuff. I also, off camera, piped down the ME cabling that is up to our system. It's hooked into the energy acceptor, so hopefully that does the trick, but we'll see, I suppose. Okay, so this is going to need... it's going to need a couple sides, actually. It's okay, I can bring it over here, I guess. So if we have our ME export bus here, and basically say... Okay, bring sulfur, export it out of the system into this inventory. We're going to need one of these. And then we should be able to just bring that around, right? Oh, now I'm stuck. I will clean this up later. Wow, this has already looked like a huge mess of cabling. Is that all we need? Is that working? It is, awesome. So yeah, that is basically taking the sulfur dust, which we don't have much. We only have 10 right now, and throwing it into here. And then the other thing we're going to need is water. So I made some more ender fluid conduits. Okay, I don't need connections on a lot of these. I just want to try and make this make the most sense as possible. So this is going to insert on blue, and that should be piping water in, right? If I make that not an output side, does that help it? Oops, don't need that. Cool, perfect. So now this should be making sulfuric acid. Great. And meanwhile, this is full of water as well, and that's making hydrogen and oxygen, which is just what we want to see. So we have sulfuric acid going now. Sweet. And we're going to run out of sulfur very quickly. I'll have to think about what I want to do. I might just buy some with Omni coins, because we're not going to need a ton of sulfuric acid for the time being, and we might be able to find a more sustainable way to get it down the line. Cool. So where are we? So once we have sulfuric acid, we should be able to make ethylene, because that is just a combination of the two, correct? Yeah, it's sulfuric acid and ethanol. And this is something that needs an advanced chemical reactor. So we have the electrolyzer right here, but yeah, we're gonna need the chemical reactor. So we haven't made one of those yet, and I don't know if it's somewhere in the quest book saying to make one. Not that I can see, but maybe we'll come about it sometime in the near future and have to break and replace. But yeah, let's make one of those really quick. So, okay, advanced, not a chemical bath, but a chemical reactor. So that's going to take a motor and a couple processors and an MB machine hull. I am actually out of processors. Ooh, and I am low on circuits. Oh man, let me take a second and make a few more processors and be right back. All right, I made a bunch more stuff. Hopefully this lasts us at least a little bit longer. I made some more processors and more circuits. So yeah, we should be able to go ahead and make this advanced chemical reactor. I made some motors off camera as well. We need to make this bronze rotor though. So that's gonna need a hammer, file, and screwdriver. Let's make a few. Why not? And then I think we should be good here. Oh, nope, we need the machine hull. And my wrench is here. Keep that on me in case we need to use it for the machines downstairs. And get the machine hull. And we should be able to get our advanced chemical reactor. Awesome. Cool. I've just been... I cooked up a good amount of other stuff as well. Just I felt like we were low on a lot of random supplies, so I made a bunch more resistors and copper wires. Some of the essentials that we've been finding ourselves use a lot. This breaker is doing really well. It's almost full already. And then once it's full, it should just pretty much sit and not break it until we need it, which should happen basically every time that this craft finishes. Good thing is, while we were doing all of that, we've gotten a pretty decent backstuff of ethanol and also sulfuric acid. We've gone through all the sulfur that we have in our system. But once we have more in our system, it should just pull it immediately in, and we'll be able to make more sulfuric acid that way. But for now, so we have this advanced chemical reactor. So this is what we're using to make the ethylene. So that's sulfuric acid and ethanol. So sulfuric acid is coming out of here, and ethanol is coming out of here. So we want them to both extract on the same color, and then bring it over into here. So if I do that, this is already hooked up. So what are we thinking? What's a good color? Purple? Purple sounds good. And then we'll have both of these extract on purple here. And extract on purple here as well. And turn them both on, and hopefully that should work. Hey, it's on. That's awesome. So that should make us the ethylene that we need. And we can also see the sulfuric acid has just gotten transferred all the way over here. So nice. Now, one thing I'm concerned about is that we're definitely going to have more sulfuric acid than ethanol. So I want to make sure that sulfuric acid isn't going to fill up every single slot, but that's something we can just monitor. Awesome. That's great. So once that is done, we are going to want to combine the ethylene and the polyethylene into, the ethylene and then some oxygen to get polyethylene. Okay. So we're going to need, another chemical reactor? And that can be either LV or MV. I'm just going to make it MV since we're kind of out of space here. Yeah, so we need another chemical reactor, and then a fluid solidifier is something we're also going to need because we need to transform these polyethylene into polyethylene sheets. And something else we could also do is make another distillery and then send the diluted sulfuric acid there, and then kind of that can loop through and provide more sulfuric acid. That could be a nice little improvement. But yeah, for now, let's make another chemical reactor and a fluid solidifier, which now that I have all my circuits and everything, that should be relatively quick. I think all we really need is just another, getting a little bit of lag here, just another machine hole, and then that should be good for the chemical reactor. Nice. And now the other thing we need is a fluid solidifier of the advanced kind, because why not? So for this, we're going to need same old, and a couple of electric pumps, which, we need medium steel pipes for those. So I'm assuming that is made the same way. Nope, that's small steel pipe. Medium steel pipe, awesome. So we already have rubber rings, we got motors, we got all this stuff. So screwdriver and wrench, I think that should be it. Sweet. And one more of these. Good, I still have enough aluminum. We are flying through it though. I want to try to get this done before I end off the episode. I'm not really sure how much time I've taken. This episode is probably pretty long, not gonna lie. Okay, so now another advanced chemical reactor and a fluid solidifier. It's a nice little line of machines, and it's relatively compact as well. Man, we could have even actually put these right next to each other, but I kind of like the way this looks. So this is making ethylene and diluted sulfuric acid. So we want to bring the ethylene and also the oxygen into this next advanced chemical reactor. So what I'm thinking we're going to need is a couple filters though. So if we do a fluid filter, that's relatively easy to make, but can we do more than one whitelist? Yeah, we can. Okay, so let's go make one of those. And then we should be able to slap that fluid filter on, and it should work relatively easy. I think we just need one. Let's try it that way. So I don't want it to insert. Good, I didn't put anything in. So we want to set this up so that it takes in oxygen. Oops. And then also ethylene. Can I spell that correctly? Yep. And also ethylene. So since those two are whitelisted, it should only let those two things in, and then it should just combine the two of them to make polyethylene with this. It looks like we're going to need a circuit as well, actually. And the reason I'm using oxygen and not air is because we get a slightly higher yield. Let me grab a programmed circuit really quickly. Cool. And that was just program 0, I believe. And let's extract these on cyan, because why not? And this will insert on cyan. Good, let's get in the ethylene. That's a good sign. And then if we also extract this on cyan, it should take out the oxygen. Nope, looks like it's not. Maybe the hydrogen needs to go somewhere first. I feel like it should be able to extract either one of those. Always active. And yeah, we got oxygen and hydrogen in here. And that's inserting. Give me a second. I'll try to debug this and figure out what's going on. Ah, okay. I caught it at the end. Maybe. I'm going to try to edit that video so you can see it happen. It all happened so quickly, but I didn't quite start recording in time. So yeah, what I had to do is basically have somewhere for the first output to go so that it could handle the second output. So I basically made 2 of these hardened portable tanks. So one holds the diluted sulfuric acid that comes out of this, and the other just holds hydrogen. And once we have digital fluid storage, what I'm going to do is basically just have it be, maybe I'll just use one tank as a buffer and then have a fluid import bus from there do its thing. So yeah, I think that should be everything. Yeah, we're getting polyethylene. Hey, look at that. That's great. So all we really have to do now is just extract this on a color we haven't used yet. And then hopefully that doesn't give, okay, I didn't take anything else. And then if we insert that, was that light gray, right? Insert that on light gray. Awesome. Now there's one more step, and that is to get the sheet mold. Just because sheets are used pretty frequently. Got these molds. I guess it's called a plate. So we need one of these. Of course. Just one steel short. Oh, I'm glad I was able to get that working. This went a lot smoother than the first time I tried to do it. I was very messed up all over the place. Okay, now we grab these things. So we get this. And that is the plate mold. So I'm also going to grab, I guess I'm glad I made that import bus now, because we can just basically have this create sheets and then feed those sheets directly into our system. Oh, this is great, man. I'm stoked. Okay, so if we do this, look at that. We got polyethylene sheets. Wait, before I go too crazy, I want to complete the quests. That's a good thing to do. Let me grab a bucket. I think I'm out of buckets. I want to be rewarded with omnicorns for my hard efforts. So let's grab a bucket of, also I can put this in here. Let's grab a bucket of ethylene and a bucket of polyethylene. And that should complete the new quest, right? Oh, we need a bucket of sulfuric acid as well, actually. All the quests. I got a little bit ahead of myself. Cool. So sulfuric acid is done, and then ethylene and polyethylene is also done. And now the plastic sheets should also be done. That's great. Okay, I'm going to put the sulfuric acid back in here. I can basically put all these things back to their respective places. Okay, you may continue making sheets now. I allow you. That's a pretty cool little image. Cool. Polyethylene sheets are a huge landmark because that lets us get auto crafting patterns. Also brings us to HV, but I really don't think we're anywhere near ready for HV. I think what we need to do before that, because this uses vibrant alloys so much, we need to automate Ender pearls with deep mob learning. So we're not quite done. Let's first import this into the system. I don't need a filter, I don't think. Might as well throw it in there. Can't hurt. And then if we just take one of these, is that gonna... Okay, so awesome. That's taking all our polyethylene sheets and throwing it into the system. We did it. We did it in one episode. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get it done in this episode, and I actually don't think it's crazy long. Yeah, so something we're going to have to do before this is a completely finished build is figure out some way to automate sulfur, but a little bit of sulfur also goes a long way, so I might just spend some omnicoins. Like these 5 omnicoins will get a stack of sulfur, so it's really not too bad, and that will last for what, like about 200 buckets of sulfuric acid. And then something else we could also do is route this diluted sulfuric acid back into another distillery, which I could put over here, and it could work that way. But for now, I'm very proud of this. We have polyethylene, and next episode we can look into how we want to use that. And something else I do want to get into, and I know I've been talking about this a lot, but it's deep mob learning. So a lot of exciting things coming up on the docket. But yeah, this will conclude this episode. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.